Hello students, today we will be discussing about early adulthood. I hope you all are fine with adolescence, and if you have any doubt you can contact me. And from now we'll be dealing about early adulthood, which is unit 3 of human development. So let us go into the topic. Okay, adulthood. Once we enter into adolescence, there is something called the word adult, which means you are going to be an independent person. So you are going to be a person as a holistic person into the society, and you will be identified with some your unique identifications. So that is what the word adult tells you. So adult na enna அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, as a person உங்களை வந்து ஒரு ஐடென்டிட்டியோட, ஒரு கெரியரோட, ஒரு ஜாபோட, ஆர் ஒரு so and so அப்படின்னு சொல்ற ஒரு கம்ப்ளீட் பர்சன், ஒரு ஹோல் பர்சன், அவங்கள தான் நம்ம அடல்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். So what are the characteristics of this stage is generally they'll be going to college, they'll be completing they'll be having a graduation, UG or PG, or they'll have a career, they'll go for a job. So this is the basic career that they'll do. Either they'll be studying in the college, they'll be doing PG, or they'll be going to a job. And then so they'll have independency now. So we have spoke about autonomy in adolescence. So they'll have a struggle for autonomy, but when they come into this stage of adulthood, they'll get that autonomy, and they are an independent person now. So then what? They'll have a relationship. It is not just friendship now, it becomes a family in the sense they'll have a partner, and they'll have children, they'll have their own family. So these are the basic characteristics of adulthood, but we are going to specifically see about early adulthood, and let us see what are the characteristics of early adulthood, and we'll see the physical developments, cognitive development, and other psychosocial developments in the upcoming slides. So now early adulthood. So early adulthood is also known as young adulthood. It is a stage of life between 20 to 35 years when grown-ups become more independent and explore different life opportunities. So it is about being independent and exploring ourselves in a career, or in a job, or in a field, or like in everything that we that we live in our life. That each and everything that we do is an exploration of what we are experiencing. And then early adulthood can be very busy time of life. Yes, why is early adulthood a busy time? Because we'll be completing our college, or we'll be entering into a job. So this is the time when a person deals with all their psychosocial development. That is, they should have a career, they should have a life partner, they should have independency, they have to explore what is their interest, likes, dislikes. So it is going to be a very busy time for their life. And then in early adulthood, an individual is concerned with developing the ability to share intimacy, seeking to form relationship and find intimate love. So this is the time when an individual finds an intimacy and an intimate love. And then it is a period in an individual's life that is characterized by both external and internal changes. So it is the time when the person changes holistically. That is, they'll have a change in internal and external. In every stage there will be a change, but this is the change when a person becomes a complete human or complete adult. Then what are the development tasks of young adults? So we'll see one by one. What is the first? Achieving autonomy. So as I said before, they'll have that feeling of independency now. They need not ask permissions, or they need not they need not seek any guidance from their parents, or they need guidance, but it is not always even for choosing things they can choose independently. It is not going to be a complete dependency. It will be a more of independency than compared to adulthood, adolescence, or childhood. Establishing identity. So this is the time when a person can establish who they are, what are they going to do in their life, what are they going to become. So this is the time they'll establish an identity. Like for example, a psychologist, or a doctor, or a student, or a engineer, or a nurse. So they'll have an identity now. And then developing emotional stability. This is the stage when a person will have a matured emotional thoughts or maturity in their emotions. And then establishing a career. So the early adult generally they focus on their career, what they have to do, what they have to choose, and what should they become. So this is the time when they keenly wanted to choose their career path. Then finding intimacy. So this is the time when they find intimacy. It is not in the early stages, but in the late stages of young adults, that is after 25 or 25 plus, people tend to find their intimate partner, becoming part of a group or community. So this is when the individual is given independency, so they go and become a part of the community and the society. Here they'll join in a volunteer group, or they go and help people outside. They go participate in events, they organize events. This is when they become a part of the community. Then establish a residence and learn how to manage households. So till adolescence, people tend to focus on their schoolings or their extracurriculars. Once they get into adulthood, that is when they experience the household things, like buying groceries or going for shopping with their family, or trying to cook for themselves. When for example, when a college student is going or staying in a hostel or in a room and making their college or going for the college, they'll have to cook for themselves. That is when they'll plan for their household. They'll have to put budgets, how they have to focus on their households. So this is when they start managing their households. Then becoming a parent and rearing children. So in the early adulthood, we can see people becoming parents and rearing a children, learning how to manage a household with children. So managing household is a part, and managing household with children is another part. Making material adjustment and learning to be a parent. So these are the most development tasks that an young adult faces, and these can be a change or a transition that is totally different from childhood experiences. So these the childhood development tasks are totally different when it comes to adulthood developmental tasks. So now coming to the physical development of early adulthood. So it is typically young adults typically are at the peak of health, strength, energy and endurance. This is the time when their health is at peak. So they are at peak of sensory motor functioning. So this is the time when their sensory motor functioning are at the peak stage. That is, the visual acuity is keenest from about 20 to 40 age, and taste, smell and sensitivity to pain and temperature generally remain undiminished until 45. After that, however, after that only they have an gradual loss in hearing, and typically begins during adolescence and become more apparent in 25, especially for high pitch sounds. So this is the time when their psychomotor or sensory motor functioning are high, are at the peak. So coming to their health. So health is one of the important thing that every individual have to take care. So they say that accident are leading cause of death in young adults, and then comes suicide. So accident, suicide, AIDS, these are the things that actually causes death in young adults. So what really matters during health and well-being is that what an young adult eat, how much time they sleep, what are their regular exercise pattern, whether they drink, smoke or they abuse drugs. These are the things that constitute for their well-being of their physique as well as for their mental well-being. So we have seen about eating, weight, obesity, eating disorders, then the importance of regular exercise, then substance abuse, the risk for drug abuse. So these things we have already seen in adolescence. I hope you can connect it to that. In eating disorder, it is same, anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa and binge eating. In obesity, the same with the obesity, the BMI level that actually gives the obesity level. and the importance of regular exercise. It is important that an adult should exercise at least for 30 minutes in a day to keep themselves healthy, not for the present but also for their future. And substance abuse, addiction, alcohol, nicotine, smoking, drug abuse, marijuana, everything constitutes their physical and psychological well-being. So these things can affect their health and health behaviors. So these are the important physical development, and I hope you can take notes for this from the book, or I'll be giving you notes for this. I have attached this in the Google Classroom. Kindly go and check that, read it. If you have any difficulty, you can just ask me. Now we'll go to cognitive. Coming to cognitive development. So generally, it is believed that adults think differently from adolescents or children. So they have conversation very differently. That is, their conversation or their way of communicating things are very different. Their understanding are more complicated and matured when compared to children or adolescents. So why is it so? And they also use or they also think using their past experiences, which the children or the adolescent don't do. These are the things that we will be discussing in cognitive development. Why is it so? Why adults think differently? So these constitute for cognitive development of an young adult. So first, Piaget's formal operation. So the formal operation stage begins at approximately 12 and lasts till adulthood. What is this? They gain the ability to think in an abstract manner by manipulating ideas in their head without dependence on concrete manipulation. So this is the time when an adolescent or an individual can think in an abstract way, and they can manipulate their ideas in their mind, and they can use it for their future purposes or solving a problem. Okay, there is something beyond formal thinking. What is that? That is the post-formal thought. For example, let me give you an example. So when you wanted to buy a bike, you go and ask your parents that you wanted to buy a bike of this brand. So for example, brand X, which costs 1.5 lakhs. Okay, it's an example. So நீங்க வந்து இது வாங்கணும்னு சொல்றீங்க. What your parents will think? Will they say yes immediately, or will they take time? So that is the difference. They'll take time. They'll first think. They'll think, is it necessary for this to buy a bike of this much cost? Is it necessary? How much petrol will it take? How much cc it is? So they will think in a different way, and they'll also ask help from their friends. They'll go and ask their friends whether this bike is useful. They'll go and check with other people whether this will have a long lasting நிறைய நாள் உழைக்குமா. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரிலாம் அவங்க எல்லார்கிட்டையும் போயிட்டு கேட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் அவங்க டிசைட் பண்ணுவாங்க. That is called post formal thinking. That is, they think with not just not just an abstract thinking or anything, but they think in a way that helps them to they think in a way that their experiences comes in, and that will help them to choose something properly. So it is characterized by the ability to deal with uncertainty, inconsistency, contradiction, imperfection, and compromise. This higher stage of adult cognition is sometimes called post-formal thought. So generally, immature thinking sees black and white. What is black and white? It is nothing but when a child wants a toy. Okay, for example, a child wants a toy. It either wants, or if there are only two conditions: it wants or it doesn't. So if you get the toy, you are a good person. If you don't get the toy, you are a bad person. There is no gray. It judges you based on this. So either you become a black or you are white. There is no gray. But this post-formal thinking sees the shades of the gray. So if for example, you are a young adult. For example, you are in your 22 years. Your parent couldn't buy you the bike which you understand that their situation is not good. So you will say, okay, fine, next time when I get my salary or when I get my first salary, I'll get my bike. This is called shades of gray or gray thinking. So it is not just black and white, whether I'll get this or not, do or die. There is no two way. It is understanding the gray parts. So that is post formal. Okay, for example, I gave you an example in the prior slide. This is also one more example. If you compare a 15-year-old with someone in their late 30s, so what will happen when you compare a 15-year-old child with a young adult? So it is nothing but this child thinks in a way that is giving and just an abstract they just wanted to solve a problem based on what is right or wrong. But this 30-year-old adult will think of all the good, bad, their past experience, whether this can help them or not. So they will have a lot of thinking. Only then they will come to a conclusion. The adult has gained experience and understands why possibilities do not always become realities. That is, they will understand that for a problem there can be a lot of solutions, but not every solution can become a reality. For example, buying a bike for 1.5 lakh can be a possible thing or can be a solution, but will it come to reality for every adult? Every person is the question. So this is when the person can understand whether something comes, some solutions can be real or not. They learn to base decision on what is realistic and practical, not idealistic. So here comes the important point, that is, they work on the realistic and the practical things. So which will happen in real, or is it practically, does it work or not? That is their idea, and not just idealistic. And these things can make adaptive choices. So these people, they make choices based on these adaptiveness and not just sticking on to either black or white. So if an adolescent wants a bike and the parents doesn't get them, they start fighting or they start quarreling with their parents. But when it comes to a 22-year-old adult or 25-year-old young adult, they will adapt with that choice. Okay, this time let me not get it, but next time when I get some money, or I'll save some money and I'll give it. That is when the post formal thinking comes in. So adults are also not as influenced what others think. So they are not just influenced by what others think. This type of thinking is referred as post formal thought. It was given by Sennett in 1998. So we have seen about the post-formal thinking. There are 4 criteria for the post-formal thinking. We'll see one by one. The first is shifting gears. That is the ability to shift back and forth between abstract reasoning and practical real world consideration. That is, when you cannot do something, for example, when you cannot buy a bike, you should be able to come out of it. You should be able to shift yourself from that position to the realistic world consideration. So that is the post-formal thinking ability, shifting of gears. The next is multiple causality or multiple solution. That is, a problem can have a lot of solution. That is, awareness that most problems have more than one solution, and some solutions are more likely to work than others. That is, let's try it your way. If that doesn't work, we can try my way. So when there is a problem, so your father says, we'll see whether if we can buy this bike in this month, or else after 2 months let me get you the same bike. So this is multiple causality. Next comes the pragmatism. That is the ability to choose the best out of several possible solutions and to recognize criteria for choosing. That is, you may have a variety of solutions for a single problem, but you should know what to choose, or you should know which is the best solution for this current problem. That is pragmatism. And next comes the awareness of paradox. That is recognition that a problem or solution involves inherent conflicts. That is, this can give internal conflict. So doing this will give him what he wants, but it will make him unhappy in the end. That is, so the person, the individual who wanted the bike, the father takes a loan and gets him the bike. But when the family wants a money for some other purpose or for his college fees or something, he may feel unhappy. That is the awareness of paradox, that we should be aware that a solution or a problem can have some other conflicts too. So these are the criteria for post formal thinking. And as of now, I have discussed about what is early adulthood, what is early adulthood, then their physical development, then comes the cognitive development, in which I have spoken about Piaget's formal and Chinot's post formal thinking. So in the next we'll be seeing the other cognitive development in young adults. Thank you.